Welcome to another week of Cut Ups with your co host. My name is Darnell Porter, and then we have my other fellow partner co host, Toski. And I want to welcome you guys into another special edition. This edition is going to be a little bit juiced up for me because it is the game week, right? It is the week for Michigan fans. This is the week that we all circle on our calendar. We all get excited for. We have Thanksgiving with our families, and then we're instantly locked in to that game every last Saturday in November at noon against the team that we can't stand, right? So I'm excited. This episode, I know I told you guys last week if we did not get Maryland film, we were going to go straight into Ohio State, but we did get Maryland film, which I think is important because I think we did some great things against Maryland. I think Bryce took some positive steps. I think he played pretty well, and it's good that we have the film to review it. At the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about Ohio State. Not too much because we don't want to keep you. I know it's the holidays. The one thing that I will say to kick us off, and then I'm going to pass this over here to Toski. One thing I'm thankful for is for each and every one of you Michigan fans that tune in each and every week to watch us break down the film. We wouldn't be here without you guys, so we appreciate you guys for liking and subscribing and watching every week. So do me a favor. Blow up the chat, blow up the Michigan chat, text message, call your friends, tell a friend we are live, and let them know we're about to get started here shortly. Toski, I want to turn it over to you, man. How was your weekend post Maryland? We're at 9-2. Everything is still in front of us, and I know you've kind of reviewed a little bit of the Maryland film. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be more pessimistic than I was last year, to be honest. Last year going into it, I was like, there's no way on this planet that Michigan's pulling off this victory. And this year I'm feeling a little bit more confident. There were some things in the Maryland game that I didn't feel all warm and fuzzy about. The pass game defense, especially there were a couple near misses that could have been long touchdowns for Maryland. A couple balls that were just outstretched the hands of the Maryland receivers. So a couple things, obviously, as always, to brush up going into a prolific passing attack that OSU always brings in the game. But yeah, I mean, I think Bryce Underwood kind of built off. I think he had a really solid showing. So bounce back after the weaker fourth quarter of the previous game. I think the O-line showed that doesn't matter who's carrying the rock, they're able to create a bunch of yards for guys. So that's encouraging heading into what might be a snowy afternoon in Ann Arbor. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of things to be encouraged about. Is it encouraging enough to overcome the 9.5-point spread against the Buckeyes? We'll see. Things will have to go right. So, yeah, I'm hoping the focus will be on the pass game defense. You know, this is a game every year where Michigan has a plan. Last year was the best view of that possible, where they had a good plan, they executed it perfectly, and they were able to escape Columbus with a victory. So I have faith in the staff. You know, it's a lot of the same staff, and I think they're up to the task. It's just a matter of executing day of. So cautiously optimistic. But man, I'm not confident enough putting out a prediction. I don't think you might be able to eke one out of me at the end of the stream here, but we'll see. It's always one of those games where I'm nervous. Nervous. Doesn't matter how good Michigan is going into it. It's just a nerve-wracking game, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that. So I'm gonna ask that prediction at the end. But what I will say, and then we can get into the film. For the past 3 to 4 years, I think every year as a Michigan fan, you expect to win this game, right? This year, though, we're in uncharted territories. This is probably the longest the streak has went for a while for us winning a game. And if you're an older Michigan fan, you're very much so accustomed that this thing kind of goes back and forward. Like if you're born in like the 80s, 90s, this thing will go 3, 4, 5 games one way, and then it'll flip right back and go a couple games the other way. And so while I'm expecting, the expectation is to win the game, right? I'm also, like you said, cautiously optimistic because I understand we're going in with a freshman quarterback. Freshman quarterback has never won this game. True freshman quarterback has never won this game on the Michigan side. And while Bryce is taking strides, as much as we tried to laugh about the Matt Patricia hiring, I mean, that guy can coach up some defense and scheme some stuff up. And so the last time I saw Bryce go up against a defense that was schemed up, he struggled in that Oklahoma game. And I remember that film review was kind of rough. And so hopefully they do some things to make it simple for him so he doesn't have to worry too much about the disguise. But I understand I have a young team and a 9-3 season. While we might be a little disappointed that we didn't beat Ohio State, you have to call it a success.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the way this team is shaping up, you're building this team for 2026, 2027. It's a good team this year. It's not an elite team. I think making the playoff, your goal is always to win the conference, to win a national championship. It's a little lofty this year. I'm not seeing it. Anything can happen any given Saturday, but I think that's a little lofty. But that's what you're looking at. You're looking for a path for the future and maintaining that momentum moving forward. But I mean, this is Michigan, and last game of the year, you have high expectations. So this isn't an excuse. It's where the team's at and evaluating their ability right now.
All right, well, let's get into what we saw this past weekend against the mighty Maryland Terrapins.
I'm sick of playing Maryland. Let me just start that off, man. Every time it feels like Michigan always plays them the game before OSU or like late in the year, and it's just like, man, just get me to the end of the season here. But anyways,
I didn't know the basketball team was up right now. Somebody just put that in the chat that we're up against the basketball team. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure we didn't come to you guys tomorrow right before Thanksgiving. Our bad.
Yeah. Throw it up on your other monitor. All right, you can multitask. Here you go. Put us, we're better than basketball commentators, right? So you can put them on mute, throw us on the audio, and go from there. All right, Michigan started on defense here. First play of the game, and right away I was like, ooh, that is not how you want to start a game. I mean, I think this has been a trend, right? That we've brought up many a time so far, Darnell, is the first drive has always seemingly gone well for the opposition. So 2 things I want to point out, really 3 things. Number 1, Jayshon Barham. What do you do on the edge, right? How many times can we say this? They're bringing 74 on a block. They're doing a double here, going down here. This is where the hole is looking to go. If you're Jayshon Barham, number 1 job, go down the line of scrimmage, meet the puller at the point of attack. Instead, watch where Jayshon Barham goes. Goes upfield. Why is he getting vertical here? Right? Go down the line of scrimmage. You getting vertical here, he's stuck in pass rush mode. This is 1st and 10, right? No need to be doing that. So he creates a ton of space, both because he's going vertical and lack of going horizontal. So he allows all this space right here. So instead, he should be right about here, meeting 74 right at the point of attack. Instead, he's going vertical, and now he's only starting to go this way. Well, that leaves so much time for 74 with all his momentum to meet him out there, and boom, there's your hole, the right side of it. Now, could your interior defensive lineman done a little bit better job there on the inside? Sure, I think so. I would like to see him not get moved as much right here. It is kind of a weak double team anyway, so he does get moved a little bit. But this play starts with not setting the edge, or at least constricting the puller there from Jayshon Barham. All right, here's the next thing. Two holds. All right, I hate calling out holding, but when it's this consequential on a play, it's pretty huge. So watch number 9 here against Cole Sullivan. Cole Sullivan, huge to have him back, but he's trying to work to the outside here, and he's just going to get held crazy right there. I mean, that is a hold all the way. You can see this guy damn near taking his shoulder pads off for him. All right, so he's getting held to oblivion. That's what creates a crease. And then you're going to see a similar hold on the outside for number 6 on the outside there. I think that's against Jair Hill. You can see right there, especially that left arm for the Maryland wide receiver. So both these hands are holding. So this, I mean, you have both holds that are really consequential to this play breaking it against Zeke Berry, number 10 on the edge there. So, I mean, those two holds are what make this from, it should be maybe a 5-yard, 6-yard pickup to a 20-yard pickup, 25 yards. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And I really try not to focus on penalties because there's a lot of plays where, you might be able to call holding here or there. But when you have two really consequential holds like that go uncalled, it's a rough start for the refs, as well as Jayshon Barham on that one. So, unfortunate start. Again, got to do what you can to make the refs irrelevant, and Jayshon Barham didn't do that. But tough to have two holds there, make that into a big starting explosive for Maryland here. Okay, moving forward a little bit here, you got 3rd and 8, and man, just cannot have that. Last week I was pulling my hair out on jumping off sides. Now I get it, Cole Sullivan, rusty, coming back from injury here, so I'll give him a little bit of grace, but thank God he's coming back for this game and, falling for these shenanigans against Maryland and not Ohio State, right? You got to clean it up. Now, it wasn't as pervasive as last week, but even so, you still got this is Derek Moore at the bottom here. He's also jumping off sides a little bit. Now, I don't know if he would have gotten flagged. It's really close if he's in the neutral zone there. It looks like he probably is. Clearly, it's Cole Sullivan is. But, Ohio State's going to do this. They're going to run tempo. They're going to throw out hard counts. They're a good enough team to execute that cleanly. Shout out to Maryland, right? 3rd down, able to get a free play. And then Jair Hill, who had a pretty rough game, he loses the ball here. You see he's looking back right here, not able to find it. And then wide receiver realizes this is just a lofted ball, right? It's really high up there. He's just going to go back shoulder, and Jair Hill's just going to lose him. So way too easy of yards here, just way too easy. You're giving him a free play, and you just throw up a jackpot 500 sort of ball and let your wide receiver run under it. So poor play from your cornerback and lack of discipline from your defensive line and linebacker. So that's just these two plays, especially on the first drive, like that's just not instilling confidence in how you approach this game and your focus coming out in an away game here. So that's tough. It's a tough look. All right, so they're driving here, ball on the 21, 2nd and 7. Little halfback or like a reverse flip out back to the quarterback. And Darnell, what's number one rule if you're a defensive lineman? I'm going to pause it right about here. What's the rule here if you're big number 0, Trey Williams? What do you do?
You should be running parallel to the quarterback, because if you're running like trying to cut him off at an angle, he's faster than you, so he's going to outrun you. So you need to be running left to right to meet him there. Make him commit to cutting upfield, because he'd have to then stop his momentum to go up the field. Now you got more blockers. You got more help coming that way.
You're damn right. And can we just admire how good of a straight arrow that is? That is how straight of an arrow he should be headed towards the sideline. All right. Yeah. But he doesn't. I don't know why. I love confidence. I love the confidence, but I hate it in practice, right? Have confidence in yourself, but be realistic. All right. And he's headed upfield. We'll show the other angle here, but you can see he's going upfield, and dude, this is not the quarterback that you can do that. All right. You defended this well, right? There not being any options here, give a lot of credit. Everyone here is strapped up relatively well. No options for the quarterback on this little trickeration. You're almost able to get the tackle here, but it's an athletic quarterback. He's breaking pocket here. As soon as you get to this point, your job is just stay on his hip, right? Just stay on his hip, work, and push him out, for no gain, essentially. Or as you said, Darnell, force him out of bounds. So big number 0, Trey Williams, starting from the 22-yard line here and going up to, I think he gets to like the 27. So him getting 5 yards of verticality there, 6 yards, 7 yards before finally going horizontal. That's just, you're realistic, right? You're in a foot race with him. You essentially are starting at the same the same mark here, right around the hash mark. You got to just go horizontal, go towards the sideline. Again, these are sort of things where I'm sure he's getting roasted in the film room. So I'm not the only one who's going to be getting in his ear about that. So he'll learn from it. He'll learn from it. But that's a big difference between, shutting down a trick play, and now instead of 3rd and long, now you got 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. It's a killer.
I guess my issue. Can you go back to just this view, but go back to the start of the play?
Sure.
All right, play it. I just want to see something right quick. The person that gets lost also is Metcalf, because who are you searching out for?
Yeah,
these are all linemen. These guys are all blocking. So he should have triggered to say, okay, and at least be somewhere parallel with the running back. He's not. He looks lost. He looks like he don't know. When that guy crossed his face and he passed him off to the linebacker.
You're saying right here?
Yeah. So I believe that's 9 for Maryland. He's going to cross his face, right? TK Metcalf left him with the linebacker. I'm almost thinking like, bro, why didn't you spot? You know that this is a mobile quarterback. Why didn't you stop right there? You see him rolling out. Who is he throwing it to on that side?
Yeah, I think this looks like it's cover 2. So you got these 2 safeties dropping back, but you got man underneath. So you're manned up here. Rolder, I think
he has a tight end because he's going to run right past.
So he's following here. So I think the reason Metcalf is following this way is because he's worried number 1 is going to continue out after the pitch here. So that's why he's following. I think that's why, because you're manned up elsewhere. So it would follow that. That's where he's starting at the play. So he's looking at this as like, oh, this is a reverse, essentially. And then he stops because he's thinking, oh, maybe it'll be like a screen or something. Number 1, he's still here in the center of the screen. So I think that's probably what he's doing. But at a certain point, you do need to be tricked. Like as soon as you see this, right, like him starting to break over here, you need to be hauling ass over as well, right? Like you are not. He needs to be hustling out there. And he's not getting on his horse quick enough. So I think he needs to recognize, hey, as soon as I see number 1's not doing anything, I need to get back and I need to be on my horse getting out there. And I don't see him doing that. So I think he was manned up against number 1, so I can understand that initially. But I do think he just kind of like gave up, like, oh, I'm not gonna, like, I'm out of this play, and gave up a little bit too early on that. Okay, 1st and 8. You're on the 8-yard line here, 1st and goal. Heck of a play here, Brandon Hillman. This is kind of a broken play at this point, where it's supposed to be like a little fake pitch, it looks like, and then go back to the inside. That's what it looks like. Or maybe it was supposed to be an actual pitch if you go back to the sideline view here, and he just didn't like what he saw. That could be the case. So it could be the case. It's good edge discipline here from TJ Guy. TJ Guy, it looks like that's who the quarterback is reading. So he may see, hey, he's reading, this potential pitch out here. I'm not confident that if I pitch it out, that I'm giving the running back anything. So that's why he fakes it and then cuts it back up almost like a counter. It's a good job backside, especially from Brandon Hillman, kind of staying home for anything backside here. And then he's able to see the quarterback break back, and just look how fast that closing speed for Brandon Hillman. But then my favorite part about this play is how he breaks down. So he triggers that short burst that he has, that acceleration really closes the gap, quickly. But then right here, right at the 8-yard line or so, he breaks down under control and makes a really good, dependable tackle. That's great safety play. And he isn't perfect. There's still, I think the next play we'll get to some misplay from him. But on this one, that's what you want from a safety. This isn't him throwing his shoulder into someone. He's wrapping up those legs and doing the alligator roll. So that's really dependable. Now, the only negative side of this, Cam Brand on the backside. You have to be ready. All right. You need to be working down the line of scrimmage here, which he's doing, but it looks like he's not ready for the actual cutback. Like he's not keeping good technique. I don't know why he's running. Right? You can look at I don't know. Like TJ Guy to me has better posturing. And what I mean by that is his chest is still facing this way. He looks like he's ready to react in any which way. But Cam Brandt's body language, he's just running this way. He should be, chest towards the end zone, still shuffling down this way so that in case something cuts back, he is still faced this way to then react either which way the quarterback ends up going. Instead, because he's faced this way, the effort for a bigger guy like himself to cut back against the grain like that, his feet aren't in the right place because of where his chest is pointing. So he's not ready here to cut back, and that's his responsibility. Damon Payne, 44, he is discouraging the quarterback from going this way. So even though his body language is similar, his responsibility is not contained in the same way that Cam Brandt's is. So Cam Brandt needs to be more strict in his technique there in order to keep that edge responsibility. And he's just late reacting to that in general. So not great play from him, but Brandon Hillman makes up for it by triggering down quickly, taking a good angle. This angle right here is really, really well done. And then breaking down right where he should. Dependable tackle. It's a good job. Really glad he's coming around. So he is coming around, right? And I preface this with, the next play, he's not going to do a good thing. He is in position here. So this is a little play action pass. This was fourth down. He just kind of panics. He panics, and he's on number 9 all the way. But right here, he probably would have been called for pass interference if this wasn't a touchdown, because he is interfering with number 9 here, the tight end. He's on him, pulling him down on his hip as well. But he didn't need to do that, right? This is a tight end. He's not going to be quicker than you. You don't need to get away with a little subtle grab here and there. You're in position the whole way. So I think he just kind of loses his confidence there a little bit, and that's what causes him to latch on. But it's a really good job. This is a hard play to recognize because let me just confirm. Yeah, it's 4th and 1. 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line, and you're able to get on the hip of the tight end immediately. That's a really, really good job of him reading this and getting right on that hip. So he's doing everything right. It's just right here. There's no need to wrap him up. No need to wrap him up. Just continue on him, right? Stay on his hip. You're right where you need to be. So I think he became too connected here, and then he lost his feet. You can see right there his right foot kicks the back of the left foot of the tight end, so he loses his feet because he's interfering. He's too close to the body here. So instead of just mirroring that, staying on his hip, he's holding on essentially on top of him. On top of him, that causes him to further interfere and then lose his feet to be able to make a play on the ball. So up and down, right? The last play was a good play. This one wasn't. So he's just got to keep his head about him. Keep his head about him. He had great technique, good eyes. Just need to finish the play, and that would have been a great one. All right, moving into offense here. You're down 7-0. Bryce Underwood, handoff to Kudzall. And there's that burst again. I know a couple games before this, Darnell, we've been talking about how we're confident in his running ability, both his vision and his burst through the hole. Those are things that are going to translate when he gets his shot in starter level carries. And obviously with Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall out for this Maryland game, he got 100 yards and a trio of touchdowns. So nothing too special on this play. Just stretched left. A couple key blocks here. Andrew Marsh and Channing Goodwin. So Andrew Marsh here, really good job. And they don't have to have great blocks. Neither one of him or Channing Goodwin. They don't need to keep those blocks forever. But just hold those blocks enough to give a path for Bryson Kudzall. And that's what Andrew Marsh does. He stays engaged with that cornerback on that little crack block. You can see he's just coming inside here on that safety. And then Goodwin makes a good decision here of cutting to the outside, right? So Goodwin kind of does a little stutter. He's going to the outside and looking for this cornerback. And that's what Kudzall is reading off of. What is number 9 doing? I'm going to cut off of that block. So that's what he does. And it's less about the block that Goodwin gets and more about the timing, being in the right place at the right time, because him coming this way that forces this cornerback to come up and make a decision. Does he undercut it? Does he go outside? Now, he has outside responsibility, so when he sees the block for number 9 coming out, he has to keep that responsibility. These are like I like to say the 200 level course, the 300 level course understanding of a running back, of understanding what is going through the defender's head to set up that cut. So you threaten to the outside a little bit, ensure that this guy has to keep his responsibility to the outside, anticipate that, threaten, and then cut up. Wait for that burst until you see that decision point, and then you can make that cut. And that's exactly what he does. So it's that anticipation, that burst right there to sneak through that hole, that takes it from a 7-yard pickup to a 15, 18-yard pickup. So just really good running instincts, things that I think are really, really hard to teach in the running back room. And that's just a really good feel for it. Now, it's not great blocking on the front side. Blake Frazier goes ass to grass here. He kind of falls down. But all you're really looking to do here is just create a mess. All right, there's enough bodies flowing here. There's enough traffic to work through that your linebackers and defensive line, even if one of your guys falls down, guess what? Not a lot of red jerseys are going to be able to make their way through that traffic. And that's what happens. It's just about racing out to the edge, getting those 1 or 2 key blocks from your wide receivers. That's a great first play, or a great, not first play because we're getting close to the red zone, but a great running play on your first drive. So that instilled a lot of confidence in Michigan's ability to run the ball in this one.
Yeah, I thought Chip did a wonderful job again. This is now the second week in a row where, I thought he called a good game.
Yeah.
Minus the turnovers from Bryce last week. I thought Chip is really starting to move towards what's the strength of his offense, and he's understanding his team on the offensive side. I think this was the highest output they had all season.
Yeah. Yeah, they're peaking at the right time. And I think that was said in a couple of pressers of just getting to that point of where you feel like you're executing, you feel like you have an understanding of the playbook. And that goes for both your coordinators and your players, of when you're calling plays at the right time, and then your players execute them at the right time as well. So you want everyone on that staff at their peak at the end of the season where it matters most. And that's definitely, this game instilled that sort of confidence that that's where they're headed into next week. All right, 2nd and 9 from the 13 here. Handoff here to Cuzall. This one didn't go anywhere. I did think a couple reads for Bryce Underwood were lacking a little bit. Now, I'll always add the caveat, we don't know how many of these reads were actually live, or if this is all just, play action, or they're trying to set up things like this was called in the huddle to give 100% of the time. We don't know. But to me, if this is a true read, which it seems like it is, probably should have kept it if you're Bryce Underwood. Now, why do I say that? You're reading 29. You're leaving him unblocked. You're sending Jalen Hoffman on a route. You're sending Bredesen across the formation here into the flat. You're reading 29. What is he doing? If he is coming down or reacting to the run game here, then you can keep to the outside, deliver the ball to the flat, or on this sort of flag route here to Hoffman in the end zone. If he goes out, then you can hand the ball off, and conceivably you'll have numbers, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the main guy, whether you eliminate him from the box or not, depending on whether he plays the pass, plays the run. That influences what happens in the backfield. All right, let's go to the other view, because this view doesn't really tell the story all that much. So at the mesh point here, again, this is like the next level of these RPOs is what does this guy being stationary or leaning inward, what does that tell you? Well, you have all of the momentum going this way for Bredesen across the formation. And then you have Jalen Hoffman on this route. Just based on the coverage here, right, you got kind of a cover 3-ish look. If this guy is just staying home, if he's not ducking out to the flat, he's not dropping back, anything like that, then conceivably you have one guy in coverage out here for 2 routes. Either he has to take this flag route, and that'll leave your flat open for Bredesen, or he will need to come down to the flat, and you got a wide open Jalen Hoffman here in the end zone. So I think while you're reading this, if you're Bryce Underwood, there's a pre-snap recognition of, what am I looking at on this side of the field in terms of who will be able to cover this route combination. So it's not just about reading this, but knowing what's over the top here to defend against those two routes on this left side of the field. So I think even though the guy is not necessarily triggering down into the box all that quickly, his lack of movement out into the flat puts that cornerback in a really dreadful position, right? He is in no man's land because he has to follow back on Jalen Hoffman here. He sees this threat coming. And guess what? If you can dump the ball off here to Bredesen, you're pretty confident he can at least get his way towards the 6-yard line and maybe truck stick the cornerback on his way to the end zone. So anyway, these are and it ends up that Bryson Kudzall has to cut back towards the outside, right towards that edge defender because you kind of get blown up on the interior there. So in general, I think just a misread, right? Those are going to happen. You want to cut down on them as much as possible. Maybe he was a little bit shaky after the Northwestern game on a couple missed reads. So just got to get that confidence back, get those correct reads in, practice those because you'll need to make sure you choose the right decision in those opportunities against Ohio State. Okay, but not end of the world, right? It's 3rd and 8 here. You get Maryland to jump off sides, take a free shot, and doing a fade to Andrew Marsh one-on-one coverage in the back of the end zone. That's a pretty fun free shot to take. So, nothing much to say here. I'm glad that Michigan is also participating in this, hard count, get the free play after Northwestern's doing it, Maryland's doing it. These are college players. These aren't professionals. So your odds of successfully getting a free play are reasonably high compared to the pro game. So good ball right where it needs to be. Good defense. This is just Andrew Marsh having some pretty strong hands, especially for a true freshman. That's where the ball needs to be, and him pulling that in is quite the talent. So really well done. Good response after Maryland came out and scored right away, and Michigan knots it up at 7 here.
I call that the Stafford to Devontae Adams play.
Ooh, I like that.
If you watch how when the Rams get down in the red zone, this is the type of play they run to Pukanua, and now Devontae Adams more than ever. I mean, it's a confidence throw. Bryce put it right on him. He threw it where only Marsh could have gotten it. This is what I wanted to see going into Ohio State because I do think we will be able to move the ball. And when you're playing a team like that, you have to go get points, right? Yeah. And you can't settle for field goals. And if I see this one-on-one with their best corner, which is David, the Abscoletta cleared that we were supposed to get, I butchered his name. But if he's on the one-on-one with Marsh or even Caleb Downs, you have to make that throw.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's one guy. I think there's a lot of decent matchups Michigan could get, but it's a good defense. And if you're able to get one-on-one coverage, Andrew Marsh is the one guy you'll choose in that one-on-one matchup against a talented Buckeye defense. I really like the choice of throwing this on a free play as well because I usually dislike fades to the end zone in general. But Bryce Underwood does have the talent, and so does Andrew Marsh. So being able to get a free play to essentially have a free fade, that's the exact scenario I want to see that occur in. So I'm glad they're kind of matching that up of not only just running the fade, but matching it up to a free play call and executing that well. All right, back to Maryland here, 3rd and 5. They're driving into Michigan territory a little bit. Heck of a play coming backside here from Jayshon Parham. He just caught the Maryland offense just not ready for him exploding down the line of scrimmage. Number 1 here is being sent in motion across right here. And he's supposed to pick up the edge here, Jayshon Parham, but he just flies down the line of scrimmage and just completely dusts him. So I don't know what they're thinking in having number 1. Like, this is just not a good scenario. I think they're probably expecting Jayshon Parham to run upfield. That's a scouting report. So that's what it looks like. Number one for Maryland is expecting out of Barham. But it's a great job for Barham recognizing, hey, this just follow the tackle, right? These pullers will take you to the ball. So just follow them down the line of scrimmage. So he eventually makes the play, but watch play side because we've seen this before, right? First play of the game of Barham not setting the edge. Watch how TJ Guy plays this. He comes down the line of scrimmage, boom, takes on that block. Works down. I like the suddenness in which he gets inward. Look at all that space he's closing down. So he starts right here. Bam. He is right at the hip of 71 when he's making contact. So that essentially stalwarts any sort of option that this running back has right here. These guys are supposed to follow. First guy's supposed to come with a block. The second puller is supposed to work around through the hole, right? Supposed to go through the hole because they're hoping this guy doesn't close that gap. Like we saw that first play. Same sort of play design. But because DJ Guy blows that up, where's 76 going? That just forces the running back to gear down. He has to gear down because this is not a clear picture. Is he cutting up here? Is he cutting to the outside? He has a tough decision to make, and it throws the whole time into the play off. And then we have Jayshawn Barham flying down the line of scrimmage backside. You're done. Any choice that you make in that sort of delayed situation, it's going to be too late for you. So, yeah, really good job. Good job from TJ Guy. Good hustle backside from Jayshawn Barham. That forces a punt here. Michigan gets the ball back 1st and 10 on their own 17-yard line. This is one, this could have changed the game. All right. Fortunate. This didn't end up in a pick. And This is a little bit too much of overconfidence from Bryce Underwood. You gotta throw a heck of a high ball to overthrow Donovan McCulley. That dude's 6'5" and has heck of a vertical. So a couple things on this. It is the right choice to go to Donovan McCulley. He was the right option. We'll go to the other view on that. I don't think he had to. I think his footwork could have been better. I don't think he needed to throw the fadeaway that Bryce Underwood thought he had to throw here. So again, a little play action, right? And it's a kind of a naked boot there. And it's a good response from this defender. It's a good response. He does a good job. I think right here, you can set your feet. You can rotate your feet and throw a ball to Donovan McCulley. There's a window here where I think he just takes a little bit too many steps here to allow this defender to get in his face, and he doesn't allow himself enough time to turn those hips, set those feet, and deliver a ball. So it's one thing to like throw off your back foot. This is more of like kind of a fadeaway, like that, and his hips are way open, right? So your accuracy is going to be all over the place. So it's one thing to throw like a sidearm because of where that defender's at. It's another one to throw that with your feet. Your forward foot, you're essentially just chest to the end zone. So you're not driving into that at all. Your footwork's all over the place. You're throwing a sidearm. It's like me trying to shoot a fadeaway 3-pointer. All right. Yep. I'm not Steph Curry. I can't do that. Bryce Underwood has a ton of talent. So we have seen this work a number of times, but it's just less consistent. So you got to do everything you can to get as many of those variables eliminated. What I mean by variables, footwork, your body momentum, got to work to try to get as many of those in place. And, if you're throwing off your back foot, but your lead foot is in the right place, you're more likely to be successful. So I think this is just, he had an extra beat here to correct some of those mechanics or get his shoulder turned around, his foot turned around to make a more accurate ball. He didn't. And the safety was on it the whole way. And again, just fortunate that the safety dropped it. So again, you make a mistake, you either learn from it or you make it again. All right. So hopefully he's learning from that and recognizing, even a sack is better than doing this against Ohio State. There are worse things than a sack in that situation, if that's the worst case. Was he throwing to Marsh? No, he 100% was throwing to Donovan McCulley. So let's look at the route combination here a little bit. Because Marsh is running this sort of deeper flag route, that's taking both the safety 13 and the cornerback here for this sort of deeper crossing route for Davin McCulley. The only thing he has to compete against is this linebacker. So if this linebacker, if he falls back into sort of this curl seam area, then that's going to leave the flat open for Channing Goodwin. Because he is biting up here into the flat, that's going to leave a big open area here for Davin McCulley to run into. So that's the window that he's looking to throw, and it is the right decision, 100%. It's just way high, and I think that's all technique based. Where his footwork's at, throwing off his back foot. Yeah, so I think
all his picks have been like that. They're not feet not set, kind of fadeaway type balls. Pause.
Because he has gotten away with it, right? He has such elite arm talent that he has gotten away with it. But it's not, most quarterbacks can never get away with it. So it's taught out of them 100%. Don't even try that throw because it'll never work. He has the arm talent where he can make it work sometimes. And, you want to eradicate that thought process as much as possible. Okay, but you live to see another down. Michigan's still driving here. Ball on the 41-yard line, 1st and 10. And this is a nice ball. Really great ball there to Andrew Marsh on his little flag route. Get to the route combination real quick. Only sending 4 on the pass rush. Nothing really to mention there. Just find the soft spot in the zone. Route combination here. You're sending a clear out, essentially, from Davin McCulley. You got an inside release flag route, or kind of an out route, but it's not. I would call that a flag route. Then you have Marlon Klein running to the flat. So I'm only looking at the play side here. But so you got Marlon Klein run to the flat. You have this sort of clear out route looking to occupy both 27 and the safety here, and then Marsh on this sort of flag route. And this is where you're looking. Because this is zone, it looks like cover 3. So you're dropping a third here. Where's the weak spot in cover 3? It's kind of this area between them, especially if you can have your outside receiver here get 27 occupied and have him carry this wide receiver before he tries to pass off to the safety. Then you really have a good spot there for that sort of flag route that Marsh is running there. Flat defender, number 6, right? His eyes, he sees this threatening here, so that's why he can't continue to get depth to where this route is going. And 27 can't really trigger up because what if number 1's just going straight vertical, right? He has to carry him until the safety has enough time to get over there. Now he will cut inside here, but that's what's going through the head here of 27. So all of these are, options. These two are options for the quarterback, but all the way with this sort of cover 3 look that you're getting, this is the soft area, and these routes are mainly as decoys just to occupy the defenders. This is where it's going all the way. So good timing, good ball, right on the money. That's how it's done, right? That's what you want. So probably a good confidence booster, especially after that almost pick, being able to throw a dart like that, get to the Maryland 35. That's a great play. All right, 2nd and 9 here. Another great dart. And right up the seam, right on time. Marshall's becoming a player. Zach Marshall, 83. If you can do this continually, you're going to get a lot of balls thrown your way. So this is another soft spot here in this cover 2 look. So you got cover 2 look because you have sort of this little play action looking sort of movement from Jasper Parker, 27 in the backfield here. You're going to hold these linebackers just a little bit. They technically have kind of the curl seam, but they're a little bit late getting there, and they're not getting enough verticality here for this sort of seam route that you have out of Zach Marshall. So because it's looking like it's cover 2, both these safeties have deep halves, so they have to get a little bit of depth as well. So that's going to leave the middle of the field open a little bit on that. So it's good recognition. Good recognition probably from Chip Lindsey of, this is the coverage that they run out of this formation, out of this look. And this is going to be the window for you, for Bryce Underwood, right between these linebackers. And you can see that's where the eyes of Bryce Underwood are looking at. He's making sure that this guy isn't triggering down, because you're also running, I think this is Marlon Klein on the outside there on the bottom of your screen. They're also running him up the sideline there. So that's also going to be a threat for the safety, right? He might see this sort of wheel route down the sideline that might urge him to get this way before he triggers up towards the seam route. So that provides just enough time there. Nice delivered ball, maybe a little bit too far in front of Zach Marshall, but I mean, that's about as perfect of a ball. I'm not even going to say that. That's about as perfect of a ball as you can get. Good job of Marshall of tucking that ball away and securing that catch. So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was about to say the one thing I do like, just rewind it 10 seconds.
Sure. Yep.
Look at when he hikes that ball, look at where he looks. He's
looking at the other safety there.
Correct. So that linebacker 32 has to cut over a little bit to create that window, because he's looking that way, and then he snaps into, and that's a quarterback going through reads, right?
Yep.
And being very intentional to see what he has on the right hand side. Okay, it looks cover 2, bam. I'm gonna make and I remember, I think last week in the Northwestern film, me and you debated about a pass where we felt like Bryce should have carried the ball up the seam. And I was like, I don't know if he's willing to make that throw. And you was like, no, that throw is a touchdown. So it looks like what Chip has been saying is that once Bryce identifies a mistake, he tends not to make the same mistake twice. And so this was a very fast, I'm not waiting around. These guys parted like the Red Sea, gave me my window, I'm hitting that tight end up the seam.
Right. And it's one of those things too where it's a good call out of where his eyes initially go, because what he does can often tell you what he's doing as well. What I mean by that is these guys are kind of lined up vertically over one another. Conceivably, what you might have now, I think it would be stupid, but you could have this guy being sent on a blitz or something, and this guy taking Marsh one-on-one. You could have that, and that would influence you. Hey, I'm throwing a Marsh all the way because this is a linebacker, right? But by reading him, not only does that take this linebacker this way, or it might have him drift this way, but because he's just kind of staying home, that's likely telling you what the other safety is doing as well. So you can make an informed decision of, hey, if this guy is triggering, I can expect this safety to be hauling butt over here and sort of cover one look. Because he's staying home, I likely know that this safety is staying home, but I get the added benefit of creating this window because this linebacker will drift over following my eyes. So that's like the next level of what does this safety do, or what is this safety doing, and that influencing my read of the other safety implicitly. You don't just have to you can get an understanding of what the whole picture is by reading one of the safeties. I think that's the evolution. If I'm describing this in game 1 against Oklahoma, right, there's no way you can expect a true freshman Bryce Underwood to get there. But, what are we, 11 games into the season thus far? That's something where he's going to be sped up enough and comfortable enough with the system to where he can start to make those leaps and make those reads more comfortably. So that's cool. That's great to see, because those are tough throws. You have to really trust and be quick. There's no delay, right? There's a short window of time to make that read and to have that timing down, and he's getting there. And he did that a couple times in this one. All right, 1st and 2. Not a whole lot to break down this play. Just wanted to show the touchdown for Kudstall. Nice pull there from your left your left guard there, Giovanni El Hadi, with a kick out block, and then just follow your fullback. That's it. Good wall here on your right side. Here's the pull here, Giovanni El Hadi, and then Jalen Hoffman, 42. Just follow him, right? Now, Jalen Hoffman probably should have gone to the inside, right? Probably should cut up here, go towards this linebacker, and Cousins can follow that. But again, when you're that close to the goal line, you trust your running back is able to bowl through get the end zone. So nothing too complex there. Able to get a touchdown lead over the Terrapins. Alex Fuller, welcome.
Welcome in, Alex. Good to see you, man.
All right, 2nd and 8 here in the second quarter. We only got the ball. And textbook defense here. Great technique out of Zeke Berry. Now, I feel like I've been hyping up Jair Hill all season. Zeke Berry's kind of been up and down. That's a great play. So that's really good to see because he had a couple plays against Northwestern where, falling to his feet, things like that. So him able to show this really good technique, just great timing. It's okay to get that other hand on the receiver. This is the time to do it, right? Sort of that offhand. Usually see it on the hip. This one's right on the arm here. But when he goes up and gets that right arm, that right hand right on the ball right there, it's never going to get called for pass interference. He's there right at the perfect time, perfectly played. Followed the wide receiver all the way down the field there. Heck of a play. That's good technique. Now, would I have liked his hips to be a little bit better here? Probably. So I don't know exactly how the technique they teach here. So it looks like he's going on a fly route. So I think that's why he's turning to his right to try to put that left arm on the hip. You're kind of taught to turn with the wide receiver and then put your outside arm on the inside hip of the wide receiver. So that's, I think, what Zeke Berry is looking to do and why he's turning towards the outside here. I think he just starts to turn a little bit early. So he starts to turn a little bit early, but then he's able to make up ground. So he recognizes, okay, that's a mistake. Get on your high horse and makes up for it there. So the wide receiver did get a step there, but it's a good reaction, right? Don't stew on the mistake. Make up that ground. So he's able to do that, and really great job at the point of attack. I think my main criticism of his has been playing the ball when the ball is arriving. That's when he's usually left his feet, not able to keep that body control at the end of the play. This one was a good job. So A+ to you, Zeke Berry. And now you got 3rd and long here on their own 27. And you got a pick for Mason Curtis. Nothing special. This is kind of a gift-wrapped pick, right? Just kind of in zone here. Mason Curtis just finds a tip ball and is able to capitalize on it. So nothing too special. What's the coverage here? It looks like you got kind of a cover 3 where you got Jair Hill going deep. Brandon Hillman in a deep third. So probably deep third. And then I believe that's Zeke Berry. So deep third here. And then you're keeping 3 underneath. 1, 2, 3. So you're probably head to the flat, but you carry this over probably if you don't see anything coming out to the flat this way. So that's probably why you have the linebacker going over towards the middle of the field and then just kind of in the curl seam area for Mason Curtis. So that's kind of what I see for the defense there. You might actually have man coverage from Metcalf at the top of your screen. Hard to say for sure. But anyway, Mason Curtis, you can see him kind of pass off this receiver towards the middle of the field. So that looks like Brandon Hillman's going to pick that up deep. Got the eyes for Mason Curtis on number 4 right here. So he's aware of it. He's going to react to that sort of slower crossing route, but throws just a little bit too high. Hey, don't apologize for the opponent making a mistake. Not the best throw. And tip drill. That's why you do the tip drill right there. That's the film they put on for why you do that drill. So good eyes, good being in the right spot and being prepared, being ready for that tip ball. Huge play, right? You're up 7, and now you're getting the ball close to the red zone, and Michigan's in business here. So you got 2nd and 5 here, ball on the 18, little orbit motion here. And another one where I would like to see Bryce Underwood just make the decision, hey, I'm going to get out of this read quickly and throw this ball to Marsh on this sort of orbit motion. So why do I say like abandon the read? So usually you're not just reading a guy, you're looking to read like an area. So you're kind of looking to read like through this edge defender. And the more that you can kind of read in this area as a part of that, like read this entire zone, the more information you're able to gather. Now that's asking a lot when like, you're looking to get the ball out to the mesh point. He fumbled a mesh point last week, so that's another thing that might be on his mind. But as soon as you see this defensive end flying down, if you're able to see this guy flying down as well, that should tell you, hey, I can eliminate 2 guys here if I just float this over to Marsh on this orbit motion here, right? If I can just float it over this guy, then we could be looking at a nice play here. Because you should have 2 blockers here, maybe here and here, and you have Marsh one-on-one against this defender out there. So that's what I would like to see. So why do I say like abandon the mesh point here? Is because what is the mesh point doing for you? As soon as you see these guys flying off the edge, these guys have already made up their mind. So maybe Bryce Underwood's a little bit worried about him, taking out Marsh here, and if he tries to deliver a quick ball, that that could be pick six city if you try to throw that. But there's a world where if you abandon this read and recognize that, hey, this guy's trajectory is not going to be in a place to play on the ball if I can loft it over into this area. Again, ask it a lot, but I think that is the play of saying, hey, right now there's too much coming at me. There's too much coming at me where if I hand this ball off, it's dead. So as soon as I see this, all right, just take it out of the mesh point and loft it over. So I think that play would have had big potential because you could even argue, hey, block here, and you got nobody out here. I don't think this guy would be able to get out there. And you could probably make that case, and I would believe you. So I get the handoff, right? Like it's probably the less risky play. You just take that, essentially a sack, right? Instead of a potential interception. So maybe he's in his head as well. But I think there was an opportunity, albeit a difficult one, to make this into potentially a touchdown.
I wonder is the window dressing, because we've seen that a lot, right? Where Bryce won't throw it. I wonder is the window dressing to show this, hold it, to make this a key read for their defenders. And then when you get to the Ohio State game, if they see the same look, Bryce pulls it and throws it. Because I don't think they put that play on the tape. I think the play that they put on tape is an immediate throw out there. This is not an immediate throw out there. This is like a zone read type throw out there. So I wonder, was he told this week to kind of hold it, right? Put it on film, make them believe that you're never going to make that type of throw. And if you see Ohio State give you that same look, and it's one-on-one out there, you got to take it.
Could be. Yep, could be. Because I have never seen Bryce Underwood make that kind of like lofty throw over here. To your point, it's always been like, usually it's called, right? Like if you're doing that, then it's always like, boom, a throw. I've never seen them actually take advantage of the fake and then throw there. So I'm sure Ohio State is, prepping for that. But, eventually you got to do it before a team will take you seriously. If you're always faking it and you're never actually doing it, then, the other team might not take you seriously. So it could be something in your back pocket to pull out for sure. All right, 3rd and 9 here. And what a play for Donovan McCulley. Now, this is one where I think if you go to the other side of the field, you would have had a much easier path to the end zone. But hey, Donovan McCulley with a hell of a cut there to get 2 Maryland defenders to run into one another and have a touchdown. Just watch this cut right there, that cut, and boom, those 2 guys take each other out for Maryland. So probably one of the best plays of the season for Donovan McCulley. Now, I'm not 100% sure what Bryce Underwood is reading. It seems like what he's reading here is this linebacker. It looks like he's reading the body language here. That looks like where the eyes are. And you kind of have two options here because the linemen are heading off in two directions, right side and left side, to set up a different kind of screen on either side. Either you have sort of this flare for Cudstall, and then you have this sort of tunnel action for Donovan McCulley with Zach Marshall headed out and a couple linemen. So that's what it looks like for Bryce Underwood. That's where his eyes are based on, where the numbers of Maryland, particularly this linebacker, where is he headed? Where is he adding himself to the equation to where it makes sense to throw to the other side? So if that's the read based on the body language, then it is the right call, right? That linebacker is looking towards that side of the field. It does look advantageous to throw across from that. But you are sending a couple more bodies, or it just happens to be the case where because Donovan McCulley took this towards the inside, so I think it's supposed to be more you follow this path, all right, where like you get around your blockers, then you head up the sideline, because really you don't want to head back to the teeth of the defense, right? This is seemingly a zone where you're going to get blown up if you continue on this path. Now, it works out for him, right? It works out for him. But I do think you had enough bodies on the other side, even with that linebacker, right? Even with that linebacker, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks right here that with the momentum of where Cudstall is going, if these guys pick up their blocks, you're good. Now, again, you have the numbers out here with these linemen here, but the path that Donovan McCulley took sort of on this tunnel screen look by going towards the inside there, you can see a world where he decides to cut up here just between these blocks. He's able to get there a little bit easier. So he takes the path less traveled and is able to make it work. So, hey, power to him, right? And I love to see it. I love to see Michigan has only had like a couple screens this year, I think, that have been super successful. This is one of them. So power to him for getting to the end zone there. But anyway, that's huge. Off of the turnover, getting this touchdown, being up 14 now, that's a big play. And establishing him more than anything else, that's going to take a little bit more pressure off Andrew Marsh as well. So it's nice to see Donovan McCulley being able to step up like that. Someone said the ref said a good pick. I want to see that. Oh, yeah, you're right. What is this ref doing? So you got number 3 coming across here. And the zebra just, whoop, says a good pick. Speaking of basketball, look at that. Oh, what's he doing? Give him a little hip check. Yeah, that makes the play.
A little bit, not a lot, just a little bit.
Just a little hip check. All right. Slipped him a 20 there, Oh. That's funny. That's good.
Man.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you're up 2 scores. Maryland looking to respond here. Got to make your tackle. All right. Got to make those 2 tackles. Oof, that's a tough look, right? I think Michigan has gotten better, but that is a whiff on the outside. That's the young gun, Jaden Sanders. I think that's Jordan Young, number 14 as well. So you want more time, make a sure tackle, right? That's tough on the outside. So pretty decent firing down here for Jaden Sanders. He's right here. You're in the right spot, but that is a whiff, right? That is a whiff. So I get it, right? You want to come down and make a lick, but you got to keep your head up, and to not even make contact is really rough. And then I don't really understand the slowdown here for Jordan Young. Like, again, I get being under control, but at this point, attack him. Right? He's too hesitant there, and he lets the wide receiver throw a stiff arm on him. So that's tough. That's tough. So the two young guys there, got to do some more tackling drills. It's as simple as that. You had the bodies there. That's just execution. All right, moving on. 2nd and 8 here. This is after a few plays. Maryland driving down the field. Just not able to get out there quickly enough. And I'm still questioning the rotation here because Michigan was playing a ton of young guys in the secondary. This is Caleb Anderson on the outside here. So yeah. I get wanting to get young guys experience. You know, I do understand that, but this is just you got Nate Marshall out there on the defensive line. You got who's 23, the young, or no, that's Cole Sullivan, so never mind. But you do have number 18, Troy Bowles out there. So you got a lot of young guys, a lot of backups here, 2nd, 3rd string. And that's tough. There's just too much space here for Caleb Anderson on the outside. So, I'm not sure what he's looking at here. Like at a certain point, your eyes, like it's okay to have your eyes back towards the quarterback like he does, but you need to stay connected here. You only are looking back if you have a good idea of where the wide receiver is. So he's just a little bit late reacting. I mean, it's a nice route. I'll give him credit, but he's just a little bit late reacting to that. And that's what allows the open space for the wide receiver.
Yeah.
So not sure about the rotation. I think that'll probably come down against Ohio State. You'll want to keep your starters in a little bit more. There's less room for error than there is against Maryland. All right, so your 3rd down here. This is something Michigan did well on defense here. And 3rd down in the red zone. Pass rush, I think coming into this game, Maryland only gave up something like 5 sacks or something crazy. So they're a pretty decent offensive line, especially in pass protection. And Michigan only sending 4 here. Really good job coming off of the initial pass rush and working back inside if you're oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Number 1. Jayshon Barham.
Yeah.
Don't know why I was blanking. So really good job. It looks like a speed rush here, and that's kind of the route or like the scouting report that I think you have most offensive tackles against Jayshon Barham. But he does a good job of speed to power, and he's just able to work off of that and then work back inside. So that's a good reroute. I should say reroute, not necessarily power, but a good reroute here of work outside, good hands, and then work back inside. And then you did have Derek Moore kind of doing a similar sort of thing, go outside, work back underneath, secure that. And so I'll give like half credit to Barham of getting there on the sack. I'll give another half credit of the quarterback looking at the wrong area because you do have wide open number 4 here on the backside towards this corner out. Looks like someone totally botched the coverage. I'm willing to bet is that rolled around the outside there, number 30. Looks like he realizes, oh crap, I'm supposed to get out back here, and he realizes it too late. But number 4 was wide open there in the end zone. So good job getting the sack, because if you didn't get there, odds are a quarterback would have been able to escape and find that. So good job, Barham.
I don't think Michigan faithful that's in the building, man. There's a lot of amazing blue in that audience, in that crowd.
There sure is, man. They travel well. Let me tell you. Maryland settles for a field goal there, 21-10. We're approaching halftime. Little drop back pass here, and really nice ball there. Donovan McCauley. Longer developing route here on the play action. Only setting 4 on pass rush. I like that Bryce Underwood, despite a little bit of pressure here. Crippen, is giving up, ceding a little bit of ground here. But he stays in there, takes a little bit of a hand while he's delivering the ball. But I like that he's able to see that the route's coming open and keep his feet about him. So that's a plus for Bryce Underwood. Let's look at the route combination here. Just kind of a clear out and a deep in route here. Looks like this is probably cover 3. It's interesting because you have 32 ducking out real fast. 32 is ducking out real fast, and then you have this safety going as well. So on the inside, you have Marsh just kind of doing a clear out. Looks like his objective is just to get this safety out of here for this sort of deeper in route for Donovan McCulley. And it helps to see this up the seam for Andrew Marsh because 32 is just hauling ass out as well. So that's really going to open up this underneath because this linebacker is panicking, getting out here. So that looks like the eyes for Bryce Underwood is looking for that route all the way. Looks like after the play action, that's where the eyes are. Like Bryce Underwood seems to be looking, hey, where's this guy going? Because if he is ducking out here, then Andrew Marsh is going to be double covered, and that's going to leave something underneath. If this guy stays home, then look at all the open field you're going to have for Marsh to carry on this post route, and you can deliver a ball over the top here. So that looks like, to me, what the read is for Bryce Underwood. Well-timed ball, boom, right on the money, and now you're past midfield. All right, looking at 1st and 10, just under 5 to go in the half. A little play action again, and a little bit of a sack. So who's to blame here on this one? It looks like it's a nice twist. I think there's multiple people to blame here. Crippen just gets straight up beat. I think Giovanni El-Hadi needs to do a better job. He's not responsible for anyone. 58. You need to just be doing some work now. All right. If you have nobody, you're looking. I like that he's surveying in case there's anyone coming down or any twists that are coming around. But at a certain point, your timer needs to go off and say, all right, just take out whoever's nearby. Right. You should be able to double team this nose guard and take him into the ground. He doesn't. His eyes aren't even there to assist. So even though Crippen gets beat, you have an extra body there, right? They're sending 5 against 6. You should be able to help out. So he's not. So 98 is eventually able to make the tackle. Who else? You do have this sort of late developing stunt where this defensive tackle is going to the outside here of Jake Garnera, and then this defensive end is looping in. So Garnera does follow, I think, a little bit too hard. But I think this is another thing of, with how delayed this is, you may just want these offensive linemen to carry through on these blocks because this guy is waiting for so long to actually do his loop. You can stay engaged between these two offensive linemen. You can carry him through this block without impeding the continued block of Andrew Sprague. So Sprague, I think, just gets beat by that inside move. He's not expecting it, and that covers the gap that is allowed for Bryce Underwood. The other aspect of this, I don't think Bryce Underwood needed to duck out. So I think he ran into the pressure. So while your offensive line could have done a little bit better, there's no need really to duck out here. He can readjust here. If you're Bryce Underwood, he can readjust. He can start to fade slightly this way. But also, as he's starting to feel this pressure and maybe step up a little bit, your running back just ran out here, right? We talked about Darnell in previous episodes. If you're not confident in your running backs in pass protection, send them out like this. Provide that safety valve. So you got to keep that in mind. If you're Bryce Underwood of, hey, I'm stepping up here, I just got to dump it off. Right? Worst case here, especially when you're staring down a defender, worst case here, I can just short arm it and maybe he'll get a yard if it takes him to the ground. But there's a lot of open space here. You're looking at least a 5-yard gain if you're able to deliver that ball to Cuzzo.
Press pause. Maybe he can't make that throw. I'm looking up at the top of the screen. Like, if he don't drop his eyes, I mean, I feel like
there's a hole shot if you can throw it right here. Because, I mean, it is too high safety, so this guy should conceivably be able to get over the top on Andrew Marsh down the sideline. I don't think he has the time for that.
I'm thinking about, like, right there off the back of your hitch, bam. If he could fire that in there, especially because he fires with so much velocity, I don't know if he can. I guess he got to carry that linebacker that's right there in depth. So maybe he does have to put a little air under it. So I don't know if that's the play. I agree with you on hitting the line. the running back out the backfield. I'll tell you the other thing that I think that we didn't do well on that play. If you go back to the other view,
Yeah.
look at how pause it. Look how close 58 and 78 are working in tandem. Even though he's not looking towards that defensive tackle, 58 and 77, their gap in between them is about a shoe length.
Mm-hmm.
53 and 54 are not working in tandem because technically if they're closer and they don't if Sprags doesn't jump out there and try to reach that defensive end and he just stays tight to 53, it don't matter if they do a stunt because 53 can just pass them off and pick up the stunt.
That's a good point.
They're too separated.
That's a good point. Yeah, you don't need to go and engage him if you're Sprague. You can, like, you should be forming, this horseshoe looking pocket. So you should be opening yourself up. And you're right. The priority should be, hey, I'm connected with you. We're working together as a unit. If this guy is just kind of staying back, which he probably would, right, in order to make this loop, then that's going to tell you something. That's going to get his eyes to shift over and free up Jake Garnero. So I think you're right. He's reaching too much. He's taking an additional step and a half to get out there, where you're right. You got to form that wall. You creating that gap allows for this stunt to be as successful. So that's a great call out. Great call out. All right, 3rd and 5 here, 2-minute warning or 2-minute timeout, whatever they call it in college here. Oh, you're getting your guy killed on the outside.
Yeah,
I think that's
hospital ball, man.
That's, not a hospital ball. That's a hospital lack of block if you're Zach Marshall.
Well, yeah, that too. But when I saw this happen in real life, I'm like, maybe he can't, maybe because it's all timing. But I don't even know. It almost like you got to pull that thing back down because. But I guess now looking at it from this angle, I can see why Bryce still threw it. He doesn't see that Marshall is missing that block.
Yeah, you got to trust. You got to trust. And even if you're trying to look, your view might be obstructed here slightly by your offensive tackle as well. So you just got to trust that, hey, this guy's going to do his job. Because if they are doing their job, that's a huge pickup, right? You're one-on-one against this safety. So yeah, it's just a really poor job there from Marshall, right? That's the one thing that you can't have happen. You can't let that guy go flying to the inside. You got to be, if you're already lost like this, which right now he's already kind of lost it, at least dive, right? You got to at least dive for him. So you just get him blown the heck up. So that's tough, right? That is what can cost you some snaps if you're not able to, if you're putting your number one weapon at risk like that. That's tough. You can't have that happen. So again, I like Marshall a lot. I think Zach Marshall will correct that. And, this is another thing though, that you can use this to your advantage where because you're putting this on film a lot, which Michigan has, right? What you can do here is throw this look out there, run the same look, but then instead of actually block, send Zach Marshall up here, right? Cover 2 look. This is going to be wide open. So this is, I think, to your point earlier, Darnell, of what are your tendencies, what have you put on film? If they see a potential advantage of, hey, we can get this guy flying upfield, that we're not confident in this guy being able to block our cornerback if he fires up this quickly, right? Well, you can take advantage of that and run this guy on just a little fade and do a little pump, boom, over the top before the safety can get there. So, things to learn, things to do better, but opportunities in the future as well. All right, 2nd and 10 here. I think Michigan missed a field goal, if I'm right. Yeah, missed a field goal there. So Maryland gets the ball back here. Good job, again, from your safety. Hillman, really good job firing down on this.
Yep, right now.
Really great job. Breaking down, very dependable. Now, Troy Bowles, do I want him to do a little bit better job on the outside? Yes, but he does a good job at least closing down this gap. All right, so he takes this on. He gives up a little bit of ground, but he at least forms this wall. So that forces this to bounce a little bit, right? You don't want this guy to have a big gap that makes your job as a safety way more difficult. There's a wider net that you have to cast. So he's able to fire down because he's able to see, all right, everyone is kind of closed off the gap. The bounce is the only opportunity for the running back. So Hillman recognizes that. Boom, there's the bounce, and really good technique. Just really good job, right? He sees the threat for Brandon Hillman. He sees the threat of this hole for the running back, right? He's kind of lost here. He trusts that he's going to have backside help of a linebacker in case the running back decides to duck backside. So he covers ground, breaks down, and then is able to shuffle back to the outside there and do the alligator roll tackle. J.R. Hill's able to get downfield as well and assist on that, minimize the gain. So that's good, dependable safety play. Really good job. So really, really happy with how he's playing. All right, 3rd and 4 on the 48-yard line for Michigan. So a little step up, roll out here, able to pick up the first down. So, would I have liked Bryce Underwood to dump this off at this point? Probably. This one's a little bit tougher because where he escaped to is going against the grain of the safety valve, right? Cuzall is over here while you're rolling out this way. This is covered up enough to where I'm all right with Bryce Underwood scrambling and getting the first down. He did have an opportunity later on when he's kind of setting his feet right here, right, to throw backside here. But again, you're kind of in a broken play. This is kind of a longer throw. I'm okay with him not throwing the ball here. You also could potentially go here, but again, this guy could be baiting you and step in front of this. So I'm okay with 3rd and short, him getting on his horse and get the first down there. Blake Frazier did get beat on the outside, so that's what causes this scramble. Blake Frazier does get beat. This guy's on a speed rush. He stays engaged with him, so at least he does that. So he's able to carry through on the block, and good recognition there for Bryce Underwood to step up. It was necessary. So yeah, I think from this angle, actually, you could make the argument, hey, this is the spot to go. Hogan Hansen, especially with the momentum here, that could have been a big play. But again, I'm not going to complain on a first down. There are always things that usually could be better. You're asking him to do a lot there. He gets first down, able to live another down here. All right, so 14 seconds here on 3rd and 4, ball just past midfield. This is a tough one because I think you should have called a timeout when you had picked up the first down here. You'd burned through a lot of clock, or maybe it's after this play that they burned a lot of clock. But anyway, I just don't know if I love the play call on this one, where it seems like it's longer developing. You have kind of a seam route, and then it looks like you have a couple comeback routes here on the right side, but then just up the seam and maybe another comeback route here. But anyway, they're trying to play to get in the field goal range. That's why it looks like most of these routes are kind of sitting there around field goal range area. I think you got to know down and distance if you're Bryce Underwood and just throw it away at this point. You have one timeout. You got to just get rid of that ball in that scenario. Taking that loss is too big at that moment. Blake Frazier, again, maybe he's just tired, but that's a tough rep for him. Not continuing to get depth here. That's the main issue. His feet kind of become stagnant here. And this is a case where he is on top of Giovanni El Hadi's feet. So there is like a concept of too close as well, because you can see he kind of gets tripped up trying to carry that on. So yeah, just not able to get that, to throw that away. Someone else that checked down, you Mac said that. And yeah, you also have Cudstall leaking out here as well. And at the very least, right, like if you are sensing that pressure, you're stepping up, just know that you have someone over here, right? They're dropping everybody. So even if it's incomplete, right, time is of the essence. You're trying to protect your chance at a long field goal and make sure that you have at least a possibility of that. So at the very least, just float it out over here to give your running back a chance. So yeah, just a couple things that Bryce Underwood can improve on in those sort of late, short clock scenarios. Okay, so I don't understand why you don't still go for the Hail Mary there. Don't really understand it. Michigan let the clock run out, but they do get the.
I thought the same thing, by the way.
But yeah, let me double check if
we took a timeout into the half. It pissed me off. I'm sorry to use that type of language, but it literally pissed me off that we took a timeout into the half.
Yep.
And we didn't even attempt to throw a Hail Mary. You got this kid who you've shown us videos that this kid can throw it 60, 70 yards. And you mean to tell me that you can't draw up Browder, Marsh, McCulley, Tonelli, Zach Marshall, whoever, and run them down the field and run a Hail Mary?
Yeah. And I mean, you still had potential to run like one play near the sideline and maybe, preserve a shot for a long field goal as well. Just get like 7 yards and trot out your kicker to try another 60-yarder, something like that, right? Like there was a lot more you could do. I don't understand the complacency. You're up 11, go up 14. Try it. Just try it. You were on the receiving end of a Hail Mary as well, right? Against Nebraska. So I don't understand it at all. Okay, into the second half here. We don't have as many clips for the second half just because the game did get out of hand. I didn't want to show all of the backup plays. But Michigan does get the ball back, driving the field here. This is a nice little floater over the middle here to Marlon Klein. Again, right up the seam. That's the soft spot. Able to just drop that in there. Again, this is all about timing. It's kind of scary. This is kind of a scary pass because you got linebackers underneath. You do have a safety over the top. So there's really, you need to be throwing the ball now. And this is the window before this safety can get over the top of that. So that's the window. Nice decision. Nice ball there to Marlon Klein, just right up the seam. You do have single high safety. Was this the right decision? You could make an argument of the eye. You could do some sort of eye manipulation here out of Bryce Underwood to possibly go to your either tight end Zach Marshall. So because you have single high safety, the single high safety will have to choose one of these seam routes, either Zach Marshall or Marlon Klein. And based on his body language, right, especially because you're looking this way, I mentioned before the concept of what you're reading can give you a sense of what the players you aren't reading is going to do. So you can theorize, hey, if I'm looking over here, that's going to influence this safety this way. And I have a really good look for this backside seam route because that safety is vacating, right? So you could make the case, hey, throw it right here, and that could be even a bigger play because of the body language of your eyes looking over here is going to do for this safety. Now, again, really good play. Still a really good play. Good ball, good timing. Good job from Marlon Klein securing that and coming down with it. But maybe, you could have gone to the other seam route as well. Okay. 1st and 10 here. You're inside the red zone. Probably best run of the night for Kuzdal, getting him his second touchdown of the day. Untouched, pretty much. And Maryland kind of makes this easy for you in terms of what the hole is looking like. This is kind of a walk-in touchdown. So I don't know what you're doing from a gap perspective for Maryland. So I get this front side 29 has outside. This defensive tackle is responsible for play side B gap. So that's where these two guys are going. It would follow that number 1 would have play side A gap. He is just way, way, way too hesitant. And he allows Crippen to get all the way out there. So he should be firing down, filling that gap. He just allows the center to work up to him. So because of 46 looping really, really hard this way, you get into the outside and hesitancy for number 1, that's going to create just a really, really easy to run through hole there for Kuzdal. He makes a nice cut there. Number 3 is trying to work through this gap right here. But Cusdall does a really good job bursting at the right moment. Again, that timing, that threatening of the hole, and then bursting off that left foot. That's great. It's a really good job. And then, poor job from the safety as well. I don't know, like the safety's number one thing is his vision. So why are you chilling behind the referee here? Why are you chilling behind him, right? Your alignment should be a little bit over to the side so that you can read this, right? I get it. Your alignment, I think they probably teach him to be aligned with the running back here. That's why he is where he is. But you need to at least have eyes. So I think he's late in reacting to this because guess what? He's kind of obstructed by the umpire a little bit. At least that's what it looks like to me. So your safety is essentially covering the same gap that your linebacker is. So what's he doing exactly? Not much. So he should be working play side, recognizing, hey, there's a lane here, but that safety doesn't do so. So good job from Cusdall, and look at the outside there for really great blocking for Marsh.
Yep.
So really good job from him. Again, that's like it's really great to see a young wide receiver. Like he doesn't need to be making the best block here, but just stay connected, right? Just stay connected to him. You don't need to take him to the ground, whatever. You just need to force him to commit, right? Shadow box with him a little bit and then become engaged with him. So it's good timing, right? Recognize, hey, he notices the play is coming. Which way is he going? Now I'm engaged. And now he's provided all the information he needs for Cusdall. Force this guy. He's cutting back inside. Guess what? I'll cut back around you. So that's great. It's great. It's one thing for your star wide receiver to be excellent in the pass game. It's also awesome for him to be carrying out these duties in the run game as well. He's already a special player.
I look at it as he has the skill set of, I know his brother's in the chat, he has the skill set of Amara Darboh, where his catch radius is, if you throw it up to him, he's pretty much going to catch it. I think he has the blocking set of Roman Wilson. Right? You remember when Roman Wilson would get out there for Blake and set those key blocks?
Yep.
I think he can block like Roman, and he has the catch radius of an Amara Darboh.
I like it. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Maryland ball. So you're up what, 28-10 at this point? So it's getting close to, game in hand. You're at 3 possessions at this point. You are fortunate that this wasn't an immediate touchdown. So Jair Hill, I've been talking him up all season. I still think he's a great player. He had a rough game. In this one. That should have been a touchdown. Go back to the wide view here. He just got cooked. He just got cooked on that. He's chasing with his hand here. And as soon as you see the feet just kind of stop for a cornerback right here and the body language here, he's not getting depth, right? He's chasing here. He is off balance. So he has to really fight. He's 3 or 4 steps behind there. So, give credit to the wide receiver for making a really nice route there. You gotta get engaged. If you're going to be impressed like this, you got to get your hands on him earlier than this. So if you see him try to make this cut immediately, you got to meet him there and at least slow him down, and then you can react. So, yeah, it's just a whiff. Just straight up whiffs and a slightly better thrown ball, and that's 6. He might be able to make up that gap after the catch to tackle him, but this is what I mean when I said at the start of this video where against Ohio State, I'm not confident that that's going to go your way if you're Michigan. So something to watch, right? Something to watch. All right, 3rd and 8 here for Maryland. And this, I think, was called a penalty. Let me double check here. Yeah, this is roughing the passer. Another thing where you just cannot have that next week. Can't have it. That was 3rd down. You're supposed to be off the field.
Yep.
Supposed to be off the field. And you just got to be smarter than that. It's Cam Brandt, right? It's a fun little stunt where you got these 2 defensive linemen. You got, I think, Derek Moore. I think it's Trey Pierce. Not 100% sure. You got Cam Brandt on a long loop. It works, right? You're getting pressure. You're also getting pressure from your linebacker there. So that impacts the throw here. Throws a little bit short. I think it's deflected as a result. Good coverage there from Zeke Berry. Get everything you want. Get everything you want here. But no need to hit him there. Now, do I think it's somewhat of a weak penalty call? Yeah. I don't think he drove him into the ground. But don't let the refs make that call, right? Don't make it a borderline call. You can't do that. Can't do that. So it's good execution. Love to see the execution. No need to hit him there. You can push him. Don't put your shoulder into him.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you cannot have that next week on a third down. If that happens against Ohio State, you're not going to get many opportunities to make up a mistake like that.
Yep, you gotta capitalize and get them off the field.
Yep. All right, we are at 2nd and 10 here. Maryland's still driving after that penalty. Not really disciplined in your coverage of the quarterback backside. He did step outside or out of bounds there a little bit before that, but you got to break down. Got to break down if you're Cole Sullivan. So what do I mean by that? Running back shouldn't be your number one priority here. If anything, you should be waiting right here for, if it is a handoff, for any sort of backside cut. You got another linebacker here front side. There's no need for you to be chasing down the line of scrimmage here for this running back. TJ Guy has outside contain here. This big gap right here, that is your responsibility. You got to break down. Got to break down and see what's happening here. So, I think this is probably I looked at this play a couple times, and it looks like it's supposed to just be a pass play. Now, maybe, I think it is. All of the routes that I see from the wide receivers looks like it's supposed to be play action. You got a couple in routes. You got sort of like a hook route here. Like all these guys are running out on routes. But because you have such an aggressive blitz probably from Cole Sullivan there, that leaves this huge gap. Leaves that huge gap. So you just got to be smarter if you're Cole Sullivan. Again, he's come back from injury. Huge to have him back. And I'm really glad he came back from for this game to get some of the rust, coming back from injury. There's going to be some rust there. But you got to break down. As soon as you hit the hole right here and you see this play action, right, you have to think about the possibility that the quarterback's going to keep there. You have to I'm shocked I'm going to say you got to perform a Brandon Hillman and break down, be composed, and then you can attack, right? Because this is not something you're going to be able to work towards if it is a handoff to the running back. So Cole Sullivan's a great player. I expect him to correct some of these mistakes we saw in this game. But yeah, that's a rough one. All right, 3rd and 10. What did I mention before? At the very least, for the defense, they performed relatively well. But man, on 3rd downs, especially on a couple key drives, just able to. Give credit to the offense here because that is a well thrown ball. That is a good catch, not terrible coverage, but Jair Hill's just a step behind. Nice pass rush. I like the inside move here. Derek Moore is able to get pressure inside. I think you have Jayshon Barham working to the outside as well. An extra beat, and he's meeting Derek Moore at the quarterback. So they are right there. This is kind of a really tough throw for the quarterback to make and a tough catch, but they're able to make it. So again, just not a great play for Jair Hill. I don't think he did all that poorly. Might just be a better route, better throw, better catch. So that's tough though, to have multiple 3rd downs. You have them 3rd and deep, and they're able to capitalize. So here we go. Another 3rd down in the red zone. And this time Derek Moore says you're not getting this one. So Derek Moore does a good job, just kind of a pure power rush, and is able to trip him up. Now you do have TJ Guy working on the other side, constricting the pocket. So probably both sides get a half sack. It actually might be TJ Guy who actually gets credited with this sack. I would have to check the box score. But they're all constricting the pocket. So that's what I like to see. Everyone is kind of getting through their guys, through their offensive linemen, to not allow the athletic quarterback any area to escape it. Generally good coverage as well. Nowhere for the quarterback to go with the ball when he's feeling that pressure. So it was 28-10. I think they kicked a field goal, 28-13. Michigan gets the ball back. They're driving midfield. Again, another just really good feel for the position for Kuzdal. Kind of a sprint right for Michigan here. You are pulling, I think that's Channing Goodwin. They're using him a lot in sort of these like lead, like small tight end sort of role. And I really like Channing Goodwin's decision-making as well. So you can see that's just who Kuzdal is following. He's going to initially get a block on number 1. Then he's going to come off of that, say, okay, I got you a little bit, and then he's going to block number 2 on the outside. And that helps create that crease. So it's good decision-making there for Channing Goodwin to just create enough of a crease there for Kuzdal to get a little bit more yardage than I think if Goodwin had kept on one of those blocks. He does enough to create first down yardage for Kuzdal. So didn't really want to point out too much on this stretch play. Maybe the other aspect, Sprague, you would like to see him work his head to the outside of this block instead of on the inside. That allows number 0 to kind of stretch this play even further outside there. But anyway, good cut off of the block, good decision from Channing Goodwin on his blocks there to form that crease. It's really good timing. I really like when Kuzdal's carrying the rock. I think he does a great job. All right, 7:09 left in the third quarter here. Another handoff, and this is one I need to remind myself why I clipped this play. I think this was a missed hole, and also, I think I liked the ass on grass there for Jake Gardnera. They try a little stunt backside. Jake Gardnera just completely takes him out. So I think I put this one in for you, Darnell. To Jake Gardnera, just
I like a good pancake.
Get nasty with it. Yeah, a little pancake right there. But I think the other aspect, Kuzdal, I think just, I lauded his vision, but this one I think he missed. I think he could have seen this route. Now, would 44 have been able to work his arm free into that? Maybe, but I still think that is enough promise to be a better option than what Kuzdal actually did. I think this view probably shows it a little bit better. There's a little bit of a lane there than what Kuzdal took because of Gardnera. So no running back's perfect. There's been a couple runs, in the past where even Jordan Marshall, Justice Haynes, they'll miss one here and there. So I'll give a mulligan there for Kuzdal on that one. But ass on grass, good block from Jake Gardnera. All right, 3rd and 5. Michigan continue to drive. They get another free play. Nothing to really call out here other than that's great. I love that they're executing that, especially on 3rd and 5, right? That is exactly what you want to do. They go back to the, hey, it's we're going to try the hard count. If they jump off, it's going to be a fade. Now, was it a perfectly thrown ball? No. I would rather, because it's a free play, loft it, give it a ton of loft, right? Let your big 6'5" wide receiver have a chance at it. So as much loft as possible, really. So don't love the ball. Should have been a little bit more lofty because it is a free play. Worst case, it's intercepted, and who cares, right? You're getting a first down anyway. So just would have liked to see that.
Yep.
But anyway, 2nd and 2 on the 2-yard line. Again, not much to say here other than touchdown for Kuzdal. You just follow your fullback as well. Good kick out block for Giovanni El-Hadi. Jalen Hoffman, that's the butt you're going up against. And just extend the ball over the goal line. That's what Kuzdal does. 3rd touchdown on the day. All right, we got a handful of plays here. You're up 35-13. Got to make that tackle in the backfield. It's a good play from the offense. So, I think it's they blocked this extremely well for what Michigan was showing off the edge. So you have both the running back and this puller coming across to deal with these two rushers. So it's good understanding for Maryland how to deal with this. It's a good job from the quarterback to recognize, hey, there's a big gap here and step up after the play action. So it's a good job there. And then, just able to find the soft spot in the zone, or I think this was actually man coverage. So able to find that soft spot. So because you have over-the-top help here, I'm not 100% sure if I love Jordan Young's technique. It looks like he's really looking to get back here, but look at just how close they are in coverage. Right? I don't think it necessitates you to be running back this hard. If anything, you need to be able to handle if this guy makes a cut back inside, let alone coming back towards the ball. You have help to your outside. So I don't know where Jordan Young, why he's kind of panicked here running back the way he is. He's kind of on top of Mangum there. So whenever you see two bodies on defense covering kind of the same area, one of which his technique is a little bit more desperate, it's not the best sign. So because of that technique, he's not able to follow the receiver back towards midfield, and that's what helps spring this to a big play. All right, 2nd and 9 here. Little handoff, and I wanted to include this. I think 29. I think that's Chase Taylor, young linebacker, and he flashed on this play. And he's had a couple plays where he's really come downfield quickly. This angle shows a lot better. So just watch the speed of the linebacker here. Similar to running back, it's really, really hard to teach instincts at the position for linebacker. It's really difficult. But I love just how quick he recognizes this. He knows his gap responsibility, and he fires down so quick there. And at least, he doesn't secure the tackle, but he at least gets the running back off balance, forces him back into the teeth of your defensive line for no gain. So that's just really, really good job of recognizing that and firing down super quickly for Chase Taylor. So for a young running back to already display that athleticism, that quickness, and that instinct, that means the game is probably slowing down for him. And I'm really excited for his future. So I like that he just recognizes the gap. So he understands, hey, these are the gaps outside here, this gap for my backside linebacker, this gap right here. And he just shoots this gap that he sees. Right? You got two guys going out to block here. He recognizes there's a gap here for me to shoot based off of this action. Triggers quickly, gets downhill, and he's able to get in that gap before 71 can redirect. So that's what getting downhill quickly will do for you. Takes out the legs there. That running back's falling, regardless of whether Trey Pierce is there or not. So good job from the young buck. I'd like to see that. All right, 4th and 9 here. Maryland has to go for it midfield, and big sack. Great job. Kind of a coverage sack if we look at just who's covering downfield. You got man coverage, no real options, right? Everyone's pretty covered up. Right at the time now where your quarterback for Maryland has to be throwing the ball, who you got? Maybe this is your best option, but Mason Curtis is right there. Have this out route, but you're manned up. Good coverage there. And this is way too early in this route for anything to be going this way. So overall, really good job. And by the time that he's ducking out, you got Derek Moore breathing down your neck. So Great speed rush off the edge. That little duck under with that right arm for Derek Moore on the right side. Really, really great job from Derek Moore. And, man, he can close fast after he's able to get past that contact. Boom, that rip, and then chases him down. Really, everyone was winning on this play. But as soon as he breaks pocket, right, you got multiple guys flowing to the ball. So Derek Moore, I mean, if he had a higher snap count, he's probably close to an All-American. He should be all conference, but he is having himself a hell of a season. Multiple sacks in like multiple games. I haven't checked the conference leaders in sack numbers, but he has to be close to up there, especially given his low snap count. He's one of the best edge rushers in the conference, if not the country. All right, 3 more plays here. Wanted to call this one out just because it was a nice run from Jasper Parker, able to keep his feet, get out to the pylon. That's a lot of I'm impressed by the grip strength of these skill position players, especially the freshmen, because this is through contact. Number one thing, don't fumble the ball through the end zone, right? He's able to take a hit and still able to extend the ball. That takes a lot of hand strength, similar to Marsh early in the game, able to come down with a ball through contact. That's not easy. It's a really good job from him holding on to that ball. I like the cutback here that he has. So it's kind of a sprint draw. Really like when Michigan runs this play. It forces the defense to choose their gaps, right? It makes them trigger really quickly. Because you have a mobile quarterback, you're going to get a lot of flow towards this motion for the quarterback. You have to respect his ability to run to the right. And that creates, it's kind of like a tunnel screen ultimately, because you allow the defensive line to get upfield to kind of take themselves out, and you create a bunch of gaps backside because of that. So I really like that play design. Just good recognition there for Jasper Parker, saying, hey, 57 is looping off of Crippen. 57 establishes himself in that hole, bounces it outside, uses a nice stiff arm, able to get past the defender and extend to the goal line. So, I don't think – I think he's fourth on the depth chart this year. Obviously, injuries have forced him into play. I don't think he's quite there yet. I don't think he I like Cuzdahl's game a little bit more than his, but this is great for just his confidence, right? The more you can hold on to these guys, especially with the transfer portal, things like that, get them touches, get them experience. That's only going to provide more juice for them in the offseason. And, who knows, next week he's still probably third on the depth chart with a banged up Jordan Marshall. So his number could be called upon in certain scenarios. So good to see there. Okay, two more plays here. 45-13 back on defense. Maryland looking to drive. This is a bad play. All right, so I promise I won't end on a bad play, but this was a rough one. Obviously, got a bunch of backups in, so I didn't want to cover the whole drive here, but you got smoked there if you're Metcalf.
Yeah, that's
on the backside.
Yeah.
So just looking at his technique, just flat-footed, right? You got to tell him here, hey, backpedal, right? Stagnant feet is never the answer in the defensive backfield. So he is chopping a little bit, but get depth, right? You got to match the speed. You got to get your momentum moving backwards in order to flip those hips to run with him. So, they probably could have called this interference, or at the very least holding, if it wasn't a touchdown. He's late to turn and run, not able to recover quickly enough. So, again, just not his time, right? It's good to get these young guys experience. So, in a blowout, learn from it, right? He does kind of like force a fumble here. I do think it was a completed catch there and then a fumble. You could argue maybe it wasn't incomplete. They didn't establish it, but again, you're splitting hairs at that point. So anyway, learn from it, right? Just a learning opportunity. Then last play I want to call out here. You get the first carry for Tomas O'Meara, and he picks up like a 40-yard gain, 30-something yard gain. Good for him, right? I just wanted to highlight that, where he saw the sideline and he went flying for it, right? So he's probably 5th, 6th on the depth chart, right? But take advantage of a mistake here. And I don't even know if it's truly a mistake, but you're not gap sound if you're Maryland, right? They probably have some backups in, so I'm not going to trash anybody, but these are looking like the gaps here. O'Meara probably recognizes that. Number 12 doesn't do a good job getting to the outside to fill that outside contain, and O'Meara takes advantage of that, goes up the sideline. So
79 is Hayward, and I know you didn't clip any more of this drive, but Hayward absolutely worked this drive, and it's very encouraging for the next year, right? Because he's playing out there on that left tackle right now. But I mean, he absolutely murdered. I think that's him at the left tackle. It's either him at the left tackle or the
79, yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely murdered kids on this drive. And
yeah,
so the future is definitely bright for us there.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing of when you're able to get 35, 40-yard chunks with your 5th or 6th string guy, if you're able to get a 100-yard, 3-touchdown game with a walk-on, that's just showing that you have some elite offensive line recruiting, elite offensive line development. And 3 of your starting offensive linemen are redshirt freshman. So that's
Yeah.
something about something. And if this game showed anything, it's that if you're a running back recruit, you're going to get yards because of Michigan's focus and development at the offensive line position. So they've come a long way this year. I think it was shaky to start, but they've really developed into, they're a Joe Moore semifinalist for the best offensive line in the country. And, if you would have told me that week 2 or so, I would have scoffed at the idea.
I'd have laughed.
Yeah, but they've really become a force, and that's the thing Michigan's going to have to lean on moving into next week as well.
Yeah. So before
this week, what am I saying? It's already the game.
It's the game week. Before we wrap up, a few things I want to touch base on for the people that's in the chat. Little fun things. So first things first, Michigan CFP came out. Michigan is 14. Maybe they're 15. Yeah, they're 15. The people that are ahead of them, I think they can jump them, which is Utah, Vanderbilt, Miami. So win and you're in. I think the committee basically told Michigan tonight, you beat Ohio State, you'd have the best win in the nation. You probably would get in at that 11 seed where Miami is sitting, because Miami, all they have left is Pitt, and they would be in the same boat as you, not have played in a conference championship, but you would have a better resume because you would have had better losses and you would have had the best win in the country. So that's the first thing for Michigan faithful out there. Who would have thought after the USC game of us watching that tape, we would be saying win and we're in, right? We were kind of confused, like, are we going to lose another game? This team has come a long way. I think I said it earlier, but I'll say it again, and I think you agree, Toski. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that a 7-5, 8-5 team from last year with no quarterback on the roster was able to come in with a true freshman and go 9-3, 10-2, you take it. Let's just be real. We want to win the Ohio State game, but if Michigan is 9-3, win the bowl game 10-3, that is a successful season with a freshman quarterback. That means the future is bright. You make the playoffs, and you're thinking, okay, we're a couple pieces away from competing back at that elite level to win a national championship. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to highlight, now that we're towards the last game, these numbers will change a little bit, but before I got with Toski, I had a Twitch stream with you guys, and I was breaking down Chip Lindsey, who he is as a play caller, right? And one of the things I highlighted about Chip Lindsey in his offenses is his quarterbacks are going to throw somewhere between 60 and 65% completion rate. He's going to have somewhere between a 45 and 50% conversion rate on third down, which is incredible, right? And then his average depth of pass is going to be about 7.5 to 8, and then his runs are going to be anywhere between 6.5 and 7. If you look at Michigan to date, and like I said, we don't have the Ohio State data in here yet. However, Bryce is completing 63% of his passes, which for a true freshman is amazing, right? Because if he's 63% as a true freshman, you can only assume that next year, with more reps, more comfortability, he'll be hovering somewhere between 65 and 67%, right? But this is the thing that jumped out to me. I remember when I looked at this after the USC game, we were hovering about 42% on third down. Guys, Michigan has risen to 48%, 48.5%. So that means on third down, just almost a little bit under half of the third down, they're completing. I would, if I had to look through the country, I would think that probably is somewhere in the top 30, top 40 in the country. Their average yards per attempt, 7.8, call it 8 yards. We've rushed the ball for 5.6. We have almost 2,500 yards on the ground. We have 2,100 yards in the air. So this offense is only going to get better with a sophomore type quarterback. So I'm excited for what it's going to be. But I told you, Toski, I was going to call you out and ask for it, but I'll give my prediction first. I've watched, well, before I get a prediction, let me ask you this, Toski. Was you able to review any of the Ohio State film I sent you?
I was, yeah.
What did you take away? I think I sent you the Texas film. I thought in the Texas game, and this could be hyperbolic, I didn't think Steve Sarkisian gave Arch Manning a great game plan to attack what Matt Patricia was doing. Was it a lot of disguising on the back end? Yes, but when I went back and rewatched that film, I came away with like, yeah, they disguised it, but your play calling wasn't great either.
I came away with that game of they were trying to protect. They weren't trying to attack. They were trying to protect their quarterback. Like it looked like they were nervous to take on the OSU defense. That's what it kind of reminded me a lot of Michigan against Oklahoma. It looked like they just weren't really confident in allowing the quarterback to diagnose the defense and unleash it. It looked like a pretty neutered offense, so to speak.
Yeah, and so it gave me a thought process of they played. I hate to say this, but it seemed like they played not to lose.
Yeah.
And not to get blown out. The same thing we said about when we played Oklahoma. But when I went through some of their games, I didn't come away with saying that this defense is not elite, because I think it is elite. But I have seen some quarterbacks that I think are lesser talented get some type of movement on that defense. And they just didn't have a defense to keep them in the game, right? Ohio State kind of got up on them, and the game kind of got out of the whack. So with us, we know that this game is always close. I think that the keys to the game is keeping this game a game going into the fourth quarter. If if Michigan is up or down, and it's a 7-point, 3-point game, right? I think 10, 14, you might be in no man's land. But if it's between 3 and 7, I just think Michigan finds a way to win the game, right? And so I think their goal should be to run like they've run all of the games. The last 4 years, the formula is to keep the ball on the ground, hit big plays when you can. The only outlier in those 4 wins was the J.J. McCarthy game, where people was running butt naked wide open. He hit Cornelius Johnson on a deep pass, and he hit Loveland on a pass. I think this has to be a Jordan Marshall, Tim Bianca Matuka type game. 200 yards on the ground. Bryce, maybe some zone read action where he holds onto the ball. And then maybe you hit. This is not a 12 reception game for Andrew Marsh. If I start to see Andrew Marsh getting spammed, I know we're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
We have to go to the roots, which is running the game. And so for me, I think this game comes down to a field goal. And I think the unlikely hero, right? I think he's missed kicks all year, right? He hasn't looked like the Zavada of old. But give me Michigan 24-21. Zavada hits the game-winning field goal. And I don't think it's a chip shot. I think it's one of those things where Michigan kind of catches Ryan Day off guard, and Ryan Day thinks like, oh, they're just going to take it into half. I mean, they're going to take it into overtime, and Moore pulls something out. We get 40, 45 yards, and I think he kicks it and sends them home. And I think it's a great story for him. He gets carried off the field once more again at home. He gets that confidence back, and Michigan extends the streak to 5 wins.
I love it. That's good. I like that, and I could buy it. I could see it. After last year, man, I have no idea, because last year I predicted I predicted OSU to win by 20. Something like
you weren't the only one. I was.
Dude, I could not see a path,
nope.
And I can see a path this year. I can see it for Michigan. I'm gonna bum you out. I'm gonna bum people out. I think there's gonna be too many mistakes for Michigan. I think they're too young. I think the defense for OSU is going to remind me a lot of the Oklahoma game. I think Michigan's offense has come a long, long way from then, but I think there's going to be one or two key mistakes that's going to remind me of just how young they are. And I'm still going to be encouraged from the game. I think I'm not going to be all doomer about it, but I think I have 31-24 OSU winning. And I hope I'm wrong. Again, there's a path. Last year I didn't see a path. So I'm more optimistic going into this one. But this OSU team's good.
And I agree with you. If it gets in the 30s, it's over. Michigan's not winning the game in the 30s. That's why I said 24-21. I think you're spot on.
If I saw Jair Hill just locking down against Maryland, and he still could, but if I saw him locking down against Maryland and the passing attack for Maryland completely shut down, I probably would reverse that score, but I'm not there right now. But hey, that's just where I'm at. All right.
I will hold you to your prediction. Hopefully you're wrong. Hopefully I'm right. I think the fairy tale story of Zapata getting the game winning field goal would be great. I will also tell you that one of the touchdowns will be either receiver to receiver touchdown, or will be receiver to Bryce, like Jameis Winston scored on the Lions. Yeah. I think with Samaj not being in the game, do you remember that play they ran in Nebraska?
Yes.
Where Samaj threw it to McCulley? I think McCulley could be the one to throw it to Andrew Marsh over the top.
I love it.
Or to Bryce. So
yeah,
look out for that. They would call me a I don't know. Oh, basketball just blew out Auburn, put up triple digits. Go Blue.
Yeah, they were up like 35 last I checked. They were.
Seems like they took it personal on Bruce Pearl. So good job to the basketball team, guys. We want to thank each and every one of you for you coming out watching this show. We kept it under 2 hours and 30 minutes this time. We finished. It seems like shorter and shorter now. Next week, once the Ohio State films get in, win, lose, or draw, right? We will be back for the final episode. We may try to figure out some things to do leading up to either the bowl or the playoff game. But appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe. And also, we're still running that sign up over at the Maize and Blue Review. If you sign up, it's $1 for 7 days. This is the perfect time to commit, because when you commit to the Maize and Blue, you get to see all of the information that's coming out this week. Signing day is next week. And also, or maybe it's in 2 weeks. Also, there's a huge recruiting weekend going on this weekend. There's a lot of recruits, some flip targets, some corner flip targets. I won't say who, because I think you guys should subscribe. But there's some big targets coming on campus this weekend. It's supposedly going to be the biggest recruiting weekend Michigan's had in at least the last 2 years. So make sure you subscribe to get that info, man. It's $1. I promise you it's worth it. After that, it's $9.99. If you think about what you spend, $9.99, which is $10 over a month, breaks down to $2 a week. If you think about what you spend $2 on in a week, you can get some quality content, and you'll be more than happy with your purchase. If a lot of guys have their best game, we have a chance, but it's a high number of guys that need to show. I agree. The margin of error this year is super small, but guess what, guys? The margin of error last year was super small too, right?
Yep.
You didn't even have a quarterback that could complete a forward pass. So
any given Saturday, buddy.
Saturday, we haven't seen a big upset yet. We know it comes every year. This could be the Auburn, Alabama Iron Bowl. When Auburn went in, nobody gave them a shot. They upset it out, the kick six, and it changed how everybody looked at it. So I think we should come in cautiously optimistic, right? But I think that the team, the coaching staff has shown you guys to trust them and believe in that until Ohio State beats you, they can't beat you, right? Like until they show you they can beat you, they're not the big bad wolf anymore. This is not 2017 to 2016 when Harbaugh was there and they won 7 straight. There was times where I felt like we were the better team, and Ohio State still won the game. So sometimes you're not going to be the better team, but we know in this rivalry, out of all rivalries, throw the records out. They're going to line it up. Bryce plays a whole heck of a lot better at home. The crowd is going to be behind him, and I know you guys are pushing the snow narrative, but there will be snow. So, hopefully, we have a great game. There is no, I mean, if it's a blowout, hopefully it's a blowout in favor of Michigan. But hopefully it's a good game, and we will see you guys next week. I'm excited, man. I'm Thanksgiving. Like I said, I'm thankful for each and one of you guys in the chat. I'm thankful for you, Toski, for responding to me on that day and saying, "Hey, guys, I wouldn't mind doing that." Right?
Hell yeah, man.
Appreciate you, man. And I will see you next week. Hopefully, you have a happy holidays with you and your family. And go blue.
You too, buddy. Go blue, everybody.